Warning! Graphic pest control video ahead. Do not watch if you might be offended. If, however, you really like watching pest control videos, then hello again and welcome to the Squirrel Hunter channel. Please continue and watch us as we control pest populations with silenced air rifles here in the UK. If you have any questions, can you please check the description below first to see if it's already been answered and for some useful links. Thank you. In this video, it's myself and Bro going to be doing some shooting on a couple of different occasions. And here we have Bro venturing out into the woodland to check the feeders. This is one of the few and very rare peanut feeders we ever put up. They will work okay. They're a lot more expensive to fill than wheat. But being it's a small feeder, and this was a few years back, we decided to pop it up in this wood just to see if we could get a reaction. You can see there's a bit of a chewed up peanut there, pretty much gives it away that squirrels have been on it. Checking the feeders is something we do periodically. And whilst he was checking that feeder, it's not too far to go to check another feeder we have nearby. You'll probably recognise this one from a few years back before I actually moved it around the tree. It was full of wheat at one point. The last time we visited, it was only about halfway up. About there, Bro's telling us. You can see it's had quite a lot of use, but also the germination of the wheat in the bottom tells you that it hasn't had a lot of use lately. It's a problem when you don't check it too regular. You have to dig that out normally, and level it off just to make sure you can see a dip. See rat holes have appeared around the base of this one. You put a food source up, you usually attract rats by accident normally, not intentionally. Sometimes you have to come and have a go at them as well. This one's dipped in the corner, making it look like a likely prospect. And of course the dip could be down to the rats. There's also germinated wheat inside of there. But Bro's going to have a go anyway just to see what happens. He's going to take out his Air Arms S410 .22 caliber. He's going to be launching his favourite Webley Power Pals out of it. As always, very good pellet that. We'll cut straight to the chase. It's Boxing Day 2016. Bro's sat in the hide. There's a squirrel on the floor at the base of the tree. He's popped into that one. He doesn't normally like carting his kit over to the other one. That squirrel's not sitting around. He's wandered straight through and hit the other side and sat by the base of the tree. And all we really need them to do is to sit still. So Bro's going to check it out with his scope cam, which is basically a camera mounted to the back of the scope. Lines up on it and slots the pellet straight into the base of its ear. That's down on the floor, the forest floor, having a bit of a kick. Can't see it so easily in the ivy. It's the trouble with ground vegetation, it does block your view, but the reaction it's giving is pretty indicative of a good kill. This was always an exploratory feeder. We did eventually take it down. This squirrel comes in and shows no sign whatsoever of going anywhere near that peanut feeder. Unfortunately, I haven't bothered to show the scope cam footage, so I'll tell you in advance, this squirrel's not going to hang around. Just going to rather annoyingly hop through to the right and off out the other side. You pretty much put this down to the fact that they're not strapped for food, and they'll be on the natural food that's still around at this time of year, and not sat up for the feeders. So Bro's called it a day. Had a quick film of a few wildflowers sticking their heads up. Go over and inspect his kill. Still one down now, so it wasn't a blank, which happens more than I like to mention. I don't tend to show you the videos of them. You go and sit and see nothing. That made great footage, wouldn't it? And the purpose of these videos is to show you how to actually shoot them correctly and kill them cleanly. Not how to sit there and drink tea in a tent in the wood and see nothing. Often unintentionally give you the idea that we're swamped in squirrels, whereas once we've cleared the area it takes a while for them to pop back up, and that one's taken a good hit to the head. Bit of a bold patch it's got going on there. I'm not sure if that's some sort of disease. It's also missing a leg. As Bro noticed, I'm not sure why he was looking at that end of the body, but he noticed the leg was missing and it looks like it's lost it and it's healed up. So it survived quite successfully. without a back leg, to the point it's healed up. Quite interesting. I had to take a look when I came over to see him. That's my bit of video there. Anyway, 1 down for Bro. Better than none down. Over to me now. You can tell the age of this video because I'm using my Theoban Rapid in 2.0 caliber, launching Crossman Premiers at my feeder. And this is the feeder I moved a quarter of a way around the tree for reasons I'll explain in a bit. I'm sat in the hide, looking at it, listening to the dawn chorus. Can't see a lot yet. Just had a shot at this jay off camera, landed in the tree to the left on the top of the branch, looking down at the feeder. I hit it square in the shoulders from behind, knocked it straight on its face onto the floor. You can hear another one squawking in the background. They're a woodland bird. When they run pheasants around here, they can be a bit of a pain. So take one now and again, just keep on top of the numbers. So I've opened the account up for the day, but it's not what I came here for. That was a target of opportunity. Sometimes they'll pop up, like the odd rabbit, maybe the odd wood pigeon. I'm after squirrels, really. You can see this particular view of the feeder, you can't see the approach of squirrels. Back when this feeder was here, the squirrels would come from the left or the right, and you wouldn't see them till they're virtually on the feeder. It's a big advantage of seeing them coming from a long way away, because it's much easier to get prepared. I'll just sit and watch the robin while I'm waiting. You have to keep vigilant, because all of a sudden a squirrel can appear. Then you have to be very careful, especially filming it. Turn the camera on, get it going, and get the rifle to your shoulder, ready to take the shot. And to illustrate my point, this one did exactly that. Messing about in the hide, and looked up when the squirrel was sat on the side of the feeder. Click of doom, but no scope cam on today. Not back then. Just gotta wait for it to sit up, like now. Straight on headshot. Those sharp little claws as the leg spasmed, hooked onto the edge. Quite happy with the reaction. I don't mind that it kicks about like that. This is another problem I had with this feeder. If they do kick to side, you can't see them after the shot. It's not trying to run away, just an intentional neuron firing in the spine caused it to kick there, but I can't see it properly now. It's unfortunate. I'm pretty sure it's a good shot though by the reaction. So I've taken the camera off its stand and peer through where I'm looking. See if I can zoom in. I'm pretty sure that's okay. Just about to see the tail though. I normally like to see if the ribs are moving, if it's still breathing. This is one of the reasons, coupled with the approach problem, that I ended up moving that feeder. I've seen that one out the corner, running in. So I got a little bit more of a heads up that was arriving. I think I might have heard it actually from memory. Just come dashing in, having a good look at the one on the floor. If it sits like that for any length of time, might be getting shot, but I'm pretty certain it's going to come from that feeder. It looks like it. Old flea bag having a scratch. You'll notice there's no lid on this feeder. This is one of the exploratory feeders we put up in this wood. There we go, that's more like it. And no time was wasted because I was sat judging its movement, looking through the scope. Straight on headshot. Down to the ground. And for this one, the kicking happened while it's lay on its back, so it doesn't give the appearance it's trying to run away. Exact same thing as the last one. And that energy soon dissipates. It was dead before it hit the ground. And everything's shut down now. So that's 2. And a J. Not too bad that. See there's a pheasant wandering around in the background. They do run them in this wood for shooting purposes. The squirrels cause mayhem with them as well, chewing into the feeders, eating the grain. Quite a restricted view, isn't it? I forgot how bad it was now. knowing that a simple move around the tree created so much better panorama, and also a view from the main direction they turned up in. It's something you'll learn as you sight a feeder, which direction the squirrels come from mostly. When I did move the squirrel feeder around the tree to roughly where that squirrel is now, I shot it the very next day, and the squirrels weren't perturbed by it at all. They came straight to that tree. They didn't notice it had moved 90 degrees around. It come and sat straight on it from memory. So there's no problems. It's an interesting exercise as well, just to find out that that change never made a bit of difference to the squirrel coming in. There's no stop and puzzled look. That one's exhibiting normal reactions to a few squirrels on the ground. While they're doing that, I usually take the opportunity to get myself set up for the shot. So I'm looking over from my rifle now and just zooming in a little bit. So I know I got the time to mess about. Just framed it a bit better for you to see. I'm fully expecting that squirrel to come and sit on the feeder. I'm going to make you sit through what I have to sit through. This is where you've got to be patient. Pretty sure they're all dead. And that squirrel's jumped onto a bough of a tree. But at the sight of me, it's looking at the one on the ground. I can't film it properly from there without moving the camera over, but I've already got the rifle raised, so I'm not going to do that. Just got to be patient. I can sort of see it, but I haven't got a shot. There we go. Gone up the tree, back to the feeder. That's what we want. Once they've exhausted their nosiness, checking the ones out on the floor. They usually get the hunger pangs that make them go to the feeder. And this one's going to mess me about by the look of it. Sometimes happens. Whilst annoying, if they do run off, it's not the end of the world. We'll get them another day. This one's not coming to the feeder too readily. So I move the camera because I'm thinking if it sits still I might shoot it on the ground. And here we have why. Another squirrel's about. Something we've come to expect. When one's agitated, another squirrel sometimes push them off. We usually think it's the more dominant squirrel exerts their authority. Bit of negative Darwinism going on, where the fittest gets shot first. That'll do. Straight to the side of the head. And the other one's up the tree. That could be in trouble if it sits there. Just poking its head out. And if the camera can see it, I'm sat to the right of the camera, so I can see that squirrel perfectly well. Just got to gauge if it's going to sit still. There we go. Get some sort of head movement. I'm still looking at it. It's definitely on alert. It's gone up the tree now. Click of doom. I must have liked what I've seen. I shot that one just out of sight. It's kicked and dropped onto the floor behind. Because I can't see it, I've had to go out the hide and check. And I came back in the hide and just sat there and waited some more. Normally don't like breaking cover, but sometimes you have to go and check. I've said it in other videos these days. We'll normally pick them up when we go out. If you've got to break cover, you've got to pick everything up. Pretty much, it's a better job. If you've got to leave the hide and disturb the woodland, you might as well lift up the squirrels. That would cause a new squirrel coming in to mess about. Like this one. There's another one I spotted from the right, that's why the camera was on sooner. Pretty much the two different directions they come from. When I move the feeder to the right of that tree, I'm looking straight across then. So anything coming from the left now, I'd be looking straight at it. I can still see a bit to the left of me from the direction that one just turned up, if that makes sense. This one sat on the top of the feeder. I'm looking at it. If it sits still long enough, could be in trouble. Just like that. Quite happy with that shot. At least this one's dropped in view. Had quite a bit of weight after the last one. Went and checked it. All was good. It's back in the hide. You can see where the blood's pumping from an exit wound there. Just zoomed in on it. It's in the right side of the head and the pellet's gone straight through and out the other side. This is an 18 foot-pound weapon. Firing a pellet the same weight as a 2.2, but a half a millimetre diameter smaller. That's the end of the session. There's the first one that's kicked over there, just out of sight. That's where the other one dropped. Fell out the tree and kicked across. Thought there might be an exit wound there. All stiff as a board. Not surprising really. It just hit straight in the top of the brain. It's like a doe. Always like to inspect the shot placements. What have I felt here? Just accidentally rolling this squirrel over where I held onto it. I could feel some under the skin. Done a little bit of field necropsy here. Bearing in mind I shot that straight on headshot, I think. And the pellet's turned up in the small of his back. It's dissipated all its energy into the target. There we go. And Crossman Premier, not quite good enough to use again. Buckled a bit. It's hardly surprising if it'll go that far down on a straight on headshot. Did a shot over the eye, basically crossed the brain and exited somewhere on the left shoulder, top of the shoulder area. So I hit it at that angle, it's gone straight through. Good clean kill there. Always on the headshots, we aim at the target where we think the pellet's going to cross the brain, and sometimes that's the straight in the eye shot. It's out the back of the head before they'd even notice it, and they'd be dead anyway. I think that's one of the ones I shot off the side of the tree. Straight through. A legal limit 12 foot-pound rifle will do that, mind. Squirrel skulls are quite flimsy, quite thin. They don't offer a lot of resistance to a pellet. You can tell the time of year. Good old snowdrops are coming through, falling galanthophiles. Nice to see. After the cold winter months. Usually the first sign the life's breaking out in the wood again. One of the pheasant feeders. The grain underneath it. The squirrels will get on there. There's the lovely rapid. 5 squirrels and a jay. Another session now. This is Bro. Air Arms S410, shooting the Webley Power Pals. We go back another year in time. 7:45, Boxing Day. He's on his own. Let's go to another feeder. Just parked up. Usually parks down by the road, walks up in his car. It's not a 4x4. Hear a buzzard in the background somewhere. That's probably it up the tree. Looks like a pair of them, to be honest. Nice to see. Yeah, looks like it. There. Heading to that woodland, the other side of that shed. And there he's in, straight into action. He's taking test shots. It's all on. Happy with the setup of the rifle. He's got his scope cam on, you just heard it beep. Cut that bit of footage out because he's waving all over the place. We'll see in a second what he's looking at. There we go. Squirrel's feeding nice and calmly. No rush here. Don't like it when they do that. I prefer them to sit up. When their head's extended like that, if they flinch, their head retracts right out of view. When they're sat up feeding, their head's sort of pulled in. And if they flinch, their head's not going anywhere. Can't go any further down because it's already further back. Never mind. Line up on it. Wallop. Nothing wrong with that shot. Squirrel down. That dip makes it a little bit awkward to see properly. You can see enough of it to know it's pretty much a textbook headshot and a textbook reaction to the shot. Check out the link in the description as to why they kick after a headshot if you didn't know already. Really pleased Ted made that video. Here's another one. The base of that post to the right. Just about to see some movement. See the tip of the tail, and it's on the log. Those logs often prove quite useful for us. Provide a good highway once you have a squirrel highway like that. I do believe that their scent is left all up it. Pretty much leads other squirrels to the feeder if they didn't know where it was already. That's what I think anyway. Got no proof of that. Something's upset it. Maybe just caught sight of the one on the ground and had a panic attack. It looks like it's looking at it. Yep, it appears that way. So we could look at the one on the ground. That'll do. Steady yourself, bro. That'll do. Let the squirrel down. Sit still long enough, and bro will make the shot count. It's pretty obvious that was a good shot. System's just shutting down now. Straight onto squirrel 3. Sometimes they'll come from across the other side. We do think now that a lot of the squirrels that come down that tree have come from behind us, via the aerial route as we call it. We've spooked a few in the past. There's a squirrel on the far side. There's 2 squirrels here. Now we're going to have a bit of a Mexican standoff where they try and work out who the boss is and who wants to get shot first. They'll normally spot another squirrel long before you do. That one doesn't seem to care about the one on the other side of the road. I'm guessing the first one there was a dominant one. That one stood back and waited. In one place we go shooting else. Q going up the bank virtually. About 20 yards difference between them. That one's come to the ground now. So obviously can't see where this other squirrel is from its location. To see what happens next. We'll have to be quick, I think, before the other one turns up. Highly likely come around to one side and spook each other at the same time. This'll do. Just got to get nice and steady. That's tempting. Not going for the shot though, he's holding off. Thinking about it. Not comfy. Quick fidget. See the squirrel's coming to the left now. Maybe you can see that at the corner of his eye. He's got the first squirrel down. Quickly onto the other one. That's not sure what happened. No shot there. That could be one. As always, the head movement. Got to be careful of those. Don't think it's spotted the one he shot yet. That'll all change in a second when it looks over the edge. See the back leg shuffling. He's going to have to wait for it to go down and have a look, I suppose. There we go. Doesn't seem too perturbed though. Quick adjustment of the camera, see what it's doing. Wake up. Sometimes they'll go down and exhibit extreme violence towards the dead body. So he's trying to coax the other one awake. It shouldn't sit like that though. Bro decided that was the right time to take the shot. And yet another squirrel bites the dust. Nice double there, bro. Here we go. Another squirrel's come romping in from the right, I do believe. Lots of tail flicking. It's not long since that other one's been shot. We've had it in the past, but I'll go to one that's still breathing. Bit of a dead giveaway sometimes. I'm pretty sure they're dead on the ground now. It's only just been shot, that other one. Bro's lining up on him. Still trying to make its mind up. An anxious looking squirrel. It's also hungry. There we go. This is a perfect example as to why we'll lift them now if we have to break cover. If we have to go out and do something, whatever it is, lift one off the ledge, finish one off, whatever you've got to do. If you've got to go out, it's much better to go and lift the dead ones and move them, then you won't get any of this malarkey going on. They'll definitely smell the other ones that were there. They won't see them. Once they see things, they seem to make more of a fuss of it than if they smell them. This one appears to be disappearing off to the side, unfortunately. Let's have a sniff at where the other ones have been. And if you've watched many of our videos, you'll know that normally this part happens and they go and have a bit of a feed, and that's when they get shot. Sometimes they can be a bit of a pain and keep messing about. That's what I used to like the click of doom for. If I flick off that rapid safety catch really quickly, clicking sounds tend to freeze them. The bro's watching this one, and if it sits up, that's decided to feed on the ground by the look of it. Back of the head shot. Knocks it on its face. You don't care where they feed. There might be some spilt grain. They ain't the best shots from the back or aiming down on them. They tend to hunch their head in a bit. So that's back of the head, spine shot. Desired result achieved. Got the squirrel kicking in the leaves to the left. And the body stopper's doing an excellent job stopping it rolling down the bank. Nicely picked shot, that, bro. Those parapels do a good job. Like any pellet, they have to go in the right spot. As I said before in other videos, only three things you have to worry about with air rifles is accuracy, accuracy, and accuracy. No point in having some super pellet that does this, that and the other, or exceeding your range that you've got accuracy on. It's too far away. Develop some fieldcraft skills and get closer, like we did back in the day. No point in taking pot shots at things. It's completely unethical. And by fieldcraft skills, I don't just mean stalking. I mean knowing your quarry, knowing what you can get away with and what you can't. In this situation, feeder with squirrels on it is a really good way of getting them out of the woodland. You also get to sit and watch the wild birds. In this terrain on the hills, with all these pine trees, evergreens around, it'd be difficult to get this many squirrels. Much easier to bait them out. It's not intended to be sporting. And anyone who bangs on about being sporting with grey squirrels isn't really serious about the pest control aspect. The only thing you should be worrying about in every instance is being humane and ethical in your shot placement. And here we go. Let's have a look. Bro's watching it. It's nice and still. Normally wait till they feed, but they seem to be messing about a bit today. If they're going to look at the ones on the floor like that. I'm going to take a dive. Another shot well picked out by Bro. Starting to get a nice stack of greys on the floor there. That one's preoccupied. All the wild birds stop feeding to watch what the squirrel's up to. They don't trust the squirrels either by the look of it. I've seen videos on the internet, squirrels eating birds. They'll definitely eat meat if they got an opportunity. That's another thing they do. They'll raid a nest, eat the eggs and the chicks out of it if they give an opportunity. I know some people defend them saying it's only nature. It might be nature in North America where they're from. But at least the animals there have all evolved together. Might stand a chance against it. Might have some defence mechanisms, like where they site their nests, etc, etc. But many as they're an introduced species here. As far as I'm concerned, that argument doesn't wash. I'm far from being a member of the Do Nothing Brigade. I'd rather do something. We offer free pest control because we're airgun enthusiasts and we like going out with our air rifles. You offer free pest control to a farmer, they usually give the permission you need to shoot. Otherwise, under UK law, this would be armed trespass. So I have permission to shoot. Farmer gives me the permission, and we remove his pests. We keep the numbers down to an acceptable level, and as they build back up over time, we'll keep visiting, and we affect the local populations only. I would rather get a lot more people involved doing this in the country. That's another good reason why we make the videos. I do believe air rifling is a brilliant sport, whether you shoot targets or use it for small game hunting or pest control like we do. The primary reason these videos are here is to show others how to do it, if they should want to. You could get yourself an air rifle and shoot targets if you want. Anyway, we're here to shoot this little fella, remove him from this woodland, and keep our landowner happy. Looks like there's going to be another one on the ground. Sniff too long, fella. Good solid impact there. Normally we wait to go on the feeder, but we only want them still, offering a good shot. And that one looked pretty calm. Bro made the decision to fire and took it out clean. Not a bad haul for Bro there. Very productive day out. Probably full of Christmas pud from yesterday and decided to get out. The owner will be pleased with that pile. Well done, Bro. That pretty much concludes the Boxing Day outings. Nice stack of squirrels to go off to the scouts. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share. Thank you.